shooter market is definitely a saturated one, but every so often a game comes along that does things a little bit differently. F.E.A.R 3 is one such game, a horror and gore-inspired romp that approaches the conventions of first-person shooters from a different perspective, mixing together familiar gameplay elements with a unique and authentically chilling setting. F.E.A.R 3 puts gamers in the role of Point Man, the protagonist from the original F.E.A.R and a product of Project Origin, a genetic engineering initiative. In the first two F.E.A.R titles, gamers are introduced not only to Point Man, but also to Alma. Alma has immense psychic powers that are at the heart of F.E.A.R 3's plot. Without spoiling anything, let's just say that Alma has found herself pregnant after the events at the end of F.E.A.R 2, and F.E.A.R 3 has you heading back to try and stop her child from being born. If there's one thing that's not going to blow you away about F.E.A.R 3, it's the game's look. Graphically, F.E.A.R 3 is certainly not up to par with some of the top echelon shooters on the market. With that said, F.E.A.R 3 still oozes with ambience and mood, and is incredibly successful in portraying its dark story. F.E.A.R 3's audio fidelity is also worth noting. The voice acting won't blow you away, but the music and especially the sound effects add significantly to the horror setting of the game. This is a title that's absolutely made to be played with surround sound.
Take cover! God, son of a...
As a shooter, you'll find F.E.A.R 3's mechanics and conventions familiar, but that's not such a bad thing. The setting is great, and F.E.A.R's 8 levels are fun to play through. The gameplay is generally linear, and while there are some collectibles to find, any ancillary exploration will likely come out of pure curiosity. Extremely poor grenade throwing, occasionally wonky AI, and some stuttering while saving and loading does detract from the experience, though. Beating each of the 8 stages with Point Man will open you up to playing through those same stages as Paxton Fettel, a psychically gifted character that F.E.A.R fans will be familiar with. Fettel plays differently than Point Man, though, allowing you to possess enemy soldiers in order to fight your way through droves of fiends. When you add in the fact that you can play through these stages using Point Man and Fettel simultaneously via online and local co-op, it's easy to see how robust and experienced F.E.A.R 3's campaign can be. But for me, F.E.A.R 3's great strength is in its multiplayer. I absolutely love F.E.A.R 3's multiplayer modes, which are not only focused but work well within the confines of F.E.A.R 3's horror aesthetic. Gone are many of the familiar modes you may expect in an FPS. Instead, F.E.A.R 3 totes 4 modes that only allow a maximum of 4 players per mode. Each mode has its own unique maps and rule sets, and are designed around the frights of F.E.A.R 3. For instance, Contractions plays much like Call of Duty's Zombie mode, with hordes of enemies storming a fixed position while you and your team shuttle supplies to your safe zone. While F***ing Run is a team-based affair that requires you and your squad mates to fend off enemies while avoiding a wall of mist edging ever closer to your position. Everything in F.E.A.R 3, whether it's single-player, co-op, or multiplayer, is interconnected with a clever in-game point system that rewards you for doing both menial and unique tasks. Points can be earned for using certain weapons, completing certain tasks, or using special powers. Points from all modes are then added up and combined on your main profile, where you'll receive special powers based on your progress. The point system is an awesome way to tie in all of the elements of F.E.A.R 3, and gives you plenty of reasons to keep coming back to all of the modes that are offered.
You didn't even bother to question your orders, did you? You just did as you were told.
I really like F.E.A.R 3. The game is certainly not without its issues, and yet I can't help but come back to the fact that I had a lot of fun in playing through it. Its single-player campaign mode certainly doesn't do anything new in the realm of FPS gameplay, but it's still a great game for shooter fans looking for something different. Co-op is also a good deal of fun. Multiplayer is stellar, and the game's awesome point system is simply icing on the cake. For more on F.E.A.R 3, head on over to IGN.com.